welcome to First Pages. I hope you're having a great day. I've got a little bit of a pie hangover from my birthday yesterday, but hey, that's what a birthday's for, right? To indulge. So the story I'm going to share with you today is a contemporary romance by A.L. Parks called The Return. The snow was blowing wildly around Eve's Jeep as she made her way towards the small ski resort town nestled in the Colorado Rockies. She was breathing heavily, creating more heat than the defroster could keep up with, as she once again swiped her hand across the windshield to clear away the fog. Driving in snow flurries on unfamiliar roads set Eve's nerves on edge, and her heart raced while her brain reminded her to stay calm. The sun had already set over the majestic mountains, and the darkness enveloped her as she exited the highway and made her way through the sleepy town. Her high beams bounced off the falling flakes as the Jeep pushed its way through the accumulating snow. She was trying, without success, to look along the side of the road for familiar landmarks that would indicate where she was. She was having trouble determining how far she was from the family vacation home. Family. The word was foreign to her now. She had once been part of a family. She had a husband and two beautiful daughters that had spent every Christmas in the log cabin vacation home that was nestled among the ski slopes of Ridgemont, Colorado. They had purchased the home when her eldest daughter was 2. Clarissa was now 20 and lived in the UK. Eve's husband, Brad, was now her ex-husband and married to his ex-secretary. They had just welcomed their second child together. Eve's youngest daughter, Amber, was spending Christmas with his family. And Eve was here, in Colorado, alone at Christmas, without family, forced to deal with memories of past Christmases spent here, memories of the family that no longer included her. It was time to let it go, let all of it go. The memories of a life that ceased to exist 6 years prior, the longing for love that evaded her, and the house that had been the heart of happier times. She was going to clear it out, the house and her heart. The house would be put on the market, sold to some other unsuspecting family, hoping it would be the hub of their holiday cheer. Her heart would remain encased in her chest, cold and atrophied. Its only function was to keep blood circulating through her body, to keep her alive in this lonely life in which she found herself merely existing in these days. Eve's eyes caught sight of something as it darted in front of her vehicle. She pulled hard on the wheel and slammed on the brakes. She knew what she had done wrong the moment her foot hit the brake pedal. She had broken the first cardinal rule of driving in snowy conditions and on icy roads. Never, ever slam on the brakes. The Jeep's back end swung around, causing the vehicle to spin out of control. Eve lost her ability to focus. Everything in the snowy landscape rushed past her eyes. For a split second, she wondered if the SUV would ever stop, and then prayed the vehicle wouldn't end up in the ravine that wasn't far from the road. Her foot let off the brake, and she tried to correct by turning the wheel in the opposite direction, but the Jeep kept spinning, performing its own ballet. After a final pirouette, the SUV slammed into a snowdrift and came to an abrupt stop. The impact sent a jolt through Eve, whipping her body around. She put her arms up just in time to protect her face from the airbag exploding from the center of the steering wheel. Then there was complete silence. The extreme quiet was disconcerting and seemed out of place following the violence of the previous moment. Noticing that the impact had killed the engine, Eve reached her hand out and turned the key in the ignition. Nothing. She was stuck. She pulled the cell phone from its cradle on the dashboard and tried to call her caretaker, Toby, but there was no service on the side of the mountain where she had finally come to a stop. Frustrated, she tossed the phone into the passenger seat. Great. What a fabulous end to the crappiest day ever, she muttered, looking around the cab of the SUV. She hit the button for the emergency flashers, praying someone would make their way down the road and stop to help her. She leaned her head back against the headrest and closed her eyes. The day had started out too early that morning. She had left her home in Newport, Rhode Island at 3. By 6, she was sitting in her first-class seat on the initial leg of her journey that took her from Providence to Atlanta, finally ending in Denver. A child and coach had screamed nearly the entire way to Atlanta, falling asleep about 20 minutes before the flight landed. Eve had seen the parents in the terminal after they disembarked, both looking as if they had battled their way through hell. Eve felt bad for them as she saw other passengers from the flight give them dirty looks as they passed by. as if the new parents had wanted to spend the entire flight trying to soothe the screaming child, unsuccessfully, in a hostile and confined airplane at 30,000 feet above the ground. The chorus to an old song floated through her head during the flight. Nowhere to run, baby. Nowhere to hide. Unfortunately, not even the song repeating in her head could drown out the screams of the 2-year-old. The rest of the day hadn't been much better. The flight from Atlanta was delayed, and when they finally boarded and closed the cabin doors, they sat at the gate for another hour. Eve didn't care why they were sitting there. She just knew the longer they did, the more she would have to endure the snoring, overweight man sitting next to her, farting in his sleep. A knock on the window startled Eve, and she nearly jumped out of her skin. The door opened, and a man stood looking in at her. "Are you okay? Are you hurt?" he asked. "No," she answered, stunned by the sudden appearance of the man. He leaned into the Jeep, peering into Eve's eyes. "Do you know where you are?" he asked, looking deeply into one eye and then the other. No," Eve managed to get out on an exhale. The man had the most stunning blue eyes she had ever seen. "I mean, I know I'm on Huntsman Road, but that's about it. I was trying to find my house, but I couldn't see very well. It's snowing." "Yeah, that happens in the winter around here," the man stated. "Smartass," Eve muttered under her breath. What a great start to The Return by L.A. Parks. A.L. Parks, sorry. I said L.A. Parks. A.L. Parks. Sounds like Eve might not be spending Christmas by herself after all. What do you think? If you want to find out, click on the buy links in the description. If you like the channel, please subscribe to First Pages. I so appreciate your support of authors and the books that we write. They come from our heart. And thank you. Have a great day and happy reading.